If you've suddenly started feeling bloated all the time, you're not alone. And here's what's important to understand. It might not be what you think. Your bloating could actually be connected to something happening deep inside your body right now, something that's shifting your hormones, changing your gut bacteria, and fundamentally altering how your digestive system works. This is the perimenopause gut connection, and it's something millions of women are experiencing without realizing the real cause. If you've been struggling with unexplained bloating and want to finally understand what's happening, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we're diving deep into the science today. Let's start with the basics. Perimenopause is the transition phase leading up to menopause, and it typically lasts between 4 to 10 years. During this time, your body is going through dramatic hormonal shifts. Your estrogen levels are fluctuating wildly, sometimes spiking, sometimes plummeting. Your progesterone is declining, and your cortisol, your stress hormone, is often elevated. But here's the thing that most women don't realize. These hormones don't just affect your mood or your hot flashes. They directly impact your digestive system in profound ways. Your gut is incredibly sensitive to hormonal changes. In fact, scientists have discovered something called the estrobolome, a collection of bacteria in your gut that actually responds to and regulates your estrogen levels. When your estrogen is fluctuating during perimenopause, your entire gut microbiome becomes destabilized. The good bacteria that keep your digestion running smoothly start to diminish. Gas-producing bacteria multiply, and your intestinal lining becomes more permeable, which means things that shouldn't get through are crossing into your bloodstream. This is a recipe for bloating. Let's talk about what's actually happening when you feel bloated. Bloating isn't just about having excess gas in your stomach, though that's part of it. It's a complex cascade of events. First, your slowed digestion means food is moving through your intestines more slowly. This gives bacteria more time to ferment the food you've eaten, which produces gas. Second, your intestines become less efficient at moving that gas along, so it gets trapped. Third, your abdominal wall muscles are actually affected by hormonal changes too. They become weaker and less coordinated, which means your belly distends more easily and visibly. One of the most frustrating things about perimenopausal bloating is that it often gets worse as the day goes on. You might wake up feeling relatively normal, but by evening, you're unbuttoning your pants and reaching for loose clothing. This is because of the cumulative effect of food moving through your system throughout the day, combined with the fact that your digestion is slower and less efficient than it used to be. Now let's talk about what foods are making this worse. Certain foods are notorious for triggering bloating in anyone, but they're especially problematic when your gut is destabilized by hormonal changes. Processed foods are at the top of the list. They're often full of additives, artificial sweeteners, and inflammatory ingredients that your compromised gut lining can't handle well. Carbonated beverages are another major culprit. That fizz might feel refreshing, but it's literally introducing gas directly into your digestive system. Dairy products are often a problem too, and here's why. During perimenopause, your ability to digest lactose can actually decrease. This is partly because your gut bacteria composition is changing, and partly because the hormonal shifts affect your enzyme production. So even if you've never had issues with dairy before, you might suddenly find that milk, cheese, and yogurt are leaving you feeling uncomfortably distended. High sodium foods are another issue. Salt causes your body to retain water, and this water retention happens throughout your digestive system as well as in your tissues. So that salty snack or processed meal isn't just making you thirsty. It's actually contributing to that puffy, bloated feeling. Foods high in fermentable carbohydrates, sometimes called FODMAPs, are also problematic. These include things like certain fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes. Your gut bacteria ferment these foods, producing gas in the process. But here's something crucial that I want you to understand. You don't have to eliminate all of these foods forever. The goal isn't to restrict yourself into misery. The goal is to understand which specific foods are triggering your bloating, and then to work on healing your gut so you can tolerate them better. And that brings us to the real solution. The key to managing perimenopausal bloating is to stabilize your hormones and restore your gut health. Let's start with nutrition. You want to focus on eating whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible. Fresh vegetables, quality proteins, healthy fats, these are your foundation. But specifically, you want to include foods that support your gut microbiome. Fiber is essential, but you need to increase it gradually because a sudden increase in fiber can actually make bloating worse temporarily. Fermented foods are your friend right now. Sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, tempeh, and fermented dairy products like kefir contain live probiotics that can help restore your gut bacteria diversity. Speaking of probiotics, a high-quality probiotic supplement can be genuinely helpful during perimenopause. Look for one with multiple strains and a high CFU count, and give it at least 4 to 8 weeks to show results. Hydration is another critical piece. Dehydration actually makes bloating worse because your body holds onto water when it's not getting enough. Aim for half your body weight in ounces of water daily, more if you're exercising. But here's the key: drink it throughout the day in moderate amounts, rather than chugging large quantities at once, which can contribute to bloating. I want you to like this video if this information is already making things click for you. Because understanding the connection between your hormones and your gut is genuinely life-changing. You'll start to see your bloating not as a personal failing or something to be ashamed of, but as a sign that your body is going through a major transition that deserves proper support. Let's talk about movement and stress management. Exercise is powerful for perimenopause because it helps regulate your hormones and supports your gut motility. Gentle movement like yoga, walking, or swimming can be especially helpful because high-intensity exercise when you're already stressed can sometimes make bloating worse. The key is consistency and finding movement that feels good to your body. Stress management is absolutely critical. Remember that cortisol spike I mentioned? Chronic stress keeps your cortisol elevated, which suppresses your digestive function and makes bloating worse. This creates a vicious cycle. You're bloated, so you feel stressed about how you look, which elevates your cortisol, which makes your bloating worse. Breaking this cycle means finding what actually calms your nervous system. For some people, it's meditation. For others, it's time in nature, creative pursuits, or time with loved ones. The specific practice matters less than finding something you'll actually do consistently. Sleep is another huge factor that often gets overlooked. Poor sleep disrupts your hormone balance and damages your gut barrier. You need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and your sleep timing matters too. Try to go to bed and wake up at consistent times, which helps regulate your cortisol rhythm and supports your hormonal balance. Now let's talk about some practical daily habits that can reduce bloating right now. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly. When you eat quickly, you swallow air and you don't break down your food properly, both of which contribute to bloating. Aim to chew each bite at least 20 times. Eat in a relaxed state if possible. Eating while stressed or rushed activates your sympathetic nervous system, which diverts blood away from your digestive system. Avoid eating too close to bedtime. When you eat right before sleeping, your digestion slows down even more because you're not moving around, and that undigested food sits in your stomach and intestines while you sleep. Space your meals out reasonably throughout the day. Eating too frequently or snacking constantly doesn't give your digestive system adequate time to process. Consider the order in which you eat different foods. Eating protein and fat first, then vegetables, then carbohydrates can slow down the digestion of carbs and reduce blood sugar spikes and gas production. Some people find that eating fruit separately from meals, rather than as dessert, reduces bloating significantly. Support your body's natural rhythm. Your digestive system actually works better at certain times of day. Eating your largest meal in the middle of the day, when your digestion is strongest, rather than at night, can make a real difference. Listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues, rather than eating by the clock. Let's also discuss when you might need additional support. If you've been experiencing severe bloating for more than a few weeks, or if it's accompanied by other symptoms like pain, changes in bowel habits, or unintended weight changes, it's worth seeing a healthcare provider. They can rule out other conditions and potentially run tests like a SIBO test if needed. Some women find that working with a functional medicine practitioner or registered dietitian who specializes in perimenopause can be incredibly helpful. These professionals can do comprehensive assessments of your specific situation and create a personalized plan rather than just generic advice. Hormone support is another consideration. Some women benefit from bioidentical hormone replacement therapy during perimenopause, and addressing hormonal imbalances can significantly improve digestive symptoms. This is something to discuss with a knowledgeable healthcare provider who understands perimenopause. Let me give you a realistic timeline. If you implement these changes consistently, you can expect to see some improvement in your bloating within 2 to 4 weeks. Noticeable, significant improvement typically takes 4 to 8 weeks, and meaningful restoration of your gut health and hormonal balance can take 3 to 6 months or longer. The important thing is that you're moving in the right direction and that your body is healing. One more thing that's really important: be gentle with yourself during this transition. Perimenopause is one of the most significant hormonal transitions you'll experience after puberty. Your body is going through enormous changes, and some bloating is normal. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not broken. Your body is simply asking for different support than it needed before. Many women report that once they understand the perimenopause gut connection and start supporting their bodies appropriately, they feel more in control and more hopeful. The bloating doesn't disappear overnight, but it becomes manageable. More importantly, you understand why it's happening, which is enormously empowering. If you found this information helpful and you're ready to take control of your perimenopause symptoms, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into women's health topics that actually matter. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What's your biggest bloating trigger? And have you noticed whether it got worse during perimenopause? Share your experience, because so many women are going through this, and your insights help others feel less alone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.